Welcome to the Buy List Deep Dive episode. Today, we're going to be looking at a couple cards with thin inventory or very thin inventory and just how that affects the price of those cards and kind of where they're sitting and what I'm seeing. Um, and without further ado, getting right into it, one of the big hitters, Balance of Justice from Heavy Hitters, the latest set of Flesh and Blood. So this card is a legendary head piece. It is generic. It says instant, destroy this, draw a card, activate this ability only if your opponent's drawn two or more cards this turn. And it has Guardwell, which says when the combat change closes, if this defendant put a -1 counter on it, -1 counters on it equal to its defense. So basically, this allows you to block with this card and still activate its instant. Um, and on the surface, I would say, um, this card sounds good, but maybe it's a little bit slow adoption, and that's what we kind of saw if you look at the chart below. Um, but recently, at I think it started to pick up some steam, and we can see that on the chart as well. I think as RTN season um, moved along, we saw more and more adoption of this. So right now, cards sitting at $128 for the rainbow foil, $200 for the cold foil. But the interesting thing is in the thin inventory theme of the episode, currently there's only 7 rainbow foil listings and 13 cold foil listings on TCGplayer. A number of those have multiple quantities, so I think we're looking at under 10 rainbow foils and under like right around 15 cold foils. You can see the rainbow foils in the past week, 15 have sold and 6 cold foils. Now, um, I think it was sitting under 100 for some time for the rainbow foils, but I think as we push to the final week of RTNs and then on to the Pro Tour, obviously, we're going to see this card stick around this 128 spot. I think, there is some. It's been like this for a couple days, so there is some resistance there, and we'll have to watch the Pro Tour since there will be sellers there taking in inventory, and then also draft events happening all weekend, right? So that's going to be a large amount of boxes opened up, and then we could see a little bit of a pushback on this, but just the card's very good, and we could see that stick around here. The cold foil pricing now, to wrap up this card, I would say 200 is probably where it's going to stay. Heavy hitters did adjust the cold foil pull rates for legendaries, and those cold foil legendaries are very hard to hit. If you've been watching the buy list, Nate and I have mentioned that a couple times. So I'm not surprised to see that cold foil pricing up over 200 for this card. All right, let's move on to the next one. You'll see a little bit of theme with these next two cards, and then also if you watched the last episode of the deep dive, we have Embolden Blade here. This is a bright lights expansion slot card. It is a blue block 3. It's warrior action. It says turn a face down card in any arsenal face up. If it is a defense reaction, destroy it, and your next weapon attack gets +1. So this one's pretty interesting as well, sitting near mint pricing at $18.75. There's only 3 current listings, 5 total cards on TCGplayer right now, and 9 have sold in the last 7 days. Not sell through rates not super high on this. I would say at 9 and 7 days. But when you're getting down to 5 left on TCGplayer, 9, definitely can change the price. One thing I do want to point out too is if you look at the chart on this one, you can kind of see that this card has been living in this thin inventory realm for a while now. You can see a couple spikes to 20. We're seeing a slower climb to $20 here. And I think, as warrior popularity keeps growing, this card has that like grindy upward motion, right? As far as playability, I know I don't play Warrior. I know Nate did a little bit. I can lean on him, and I know in the past he said this card wasn't super playable. I think it's made its way into some Dory list and things like that. I'm not sure if Kasai looks at this card, to be honest. I don't think those lists run this card. Maybe sideboard card at the most, but with only five total cards, not even listings on TCG Player, this card has the potential to spike up 25, $30 right as it sits. And then and like I said in the last episode, nobody's opening Everfest anymore. And it seems like that fall off happened very rapidly. Expansion cards are rare. So we're seeing that kind of play out here. So be interested to see if this spikes up. If you're looking to sell some of these cards, I would say, get them up there, right? Or you're looking to buy some of these cards, keep an eye on it, right? Maybe there will be a store that floods back in and brings the price down a little bit, but yeah, it's just one to keep an eye on. Okay, so my last card I want to talk to today is Evo Steel Soul Controller. So this is the Evo arm piece. This is a majestic in the main set of not Everfest, in bright lights. Again, this kind of going on the theme, right? We looked at Phantom Time Maw last week. We just looked at Embolden Blade. Now we're looking at a main set card, which is not as rare as the expansion slot cards. It's sitting at about $14.50. Current listings at 16 total cards on TCG Player for the near mint non foil, and 18 have sold in the last week. So again, if we think back to Embolden Blade, 9 has sold, so double the amount of sales. And I think what we're looking at here is that a couple decks play this card. It's very strong for them. Again, blue block 3. The equipment, is very good. If you can get it down right, it blocks for 3 as well. If you just need something to do, I believe Dash plays this. The Tree Fog Dash definitely plays this. And then Teklo too. Teklo has been making a scene locally at RTNs, things like that. So I think we're just seeing that, right? 18 sold, people looking back to get into those mechs and see what's cooking, right? Because I think they've made an okay splash this season, but maybe people are angling to get those ready for Pro Tour or something like that. Looking at the chart, since November, it's been pretty steady, right? It kind of popped up above 10 back even in November, stayed around there, up, down. But, it's grinding upwards again. And, as inventory thins out on this, right, that's when you see those large leaps, right? And that's like the whole basis of this episode, is to kind of talk about, if you're not paying, if you don't look at TCG players super close, um, this is when these giant spikes that you see in your Discord, someone says, holy smokes, look at this card, it jumped $40. This is what happens here, right? This card could easily go to $30. If someone comes in, buys them out, says, hey, I need a couple play sets. A play set is 3 each. I don't want to open bright lights, so why would I take my chances there? My local store doesn't have any. I'll go to TCG Player, and then someone backfills in with a higher price, $20, $25, so on and so up. So overall, 3 interesting cards here. We got, again, there were the Evo Soul Steel Controller, Embolden Blade, the expansion slot card, and Balance of Justice. Since we did see Balance jump up here in the last week, and it's kind of sticking around that price. So I think we have a new price set in for that. Yeah, if you see any flesh and blood cards that have thin inventory or thin inventory, leave a comment down below. Please subscribe, do all this stuff. I hope you enjoyed these shorter format videos, just little quick hitters. But we'll see you next week. Peace.